Talk about it with Franjez. Today's special guest is a podcast host, a radio host, a mentor. He won many awards, and we're going to get into it all today. Today's guest is Mathew Ricker.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Nice and early. It's 10 o'clock Sunday morning. God isn't even awake yet.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh, man. This is going to be a good one. Let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born right over in Rochelle, about 15 minutes from here. Okay. Born and raised, fourth generation Rochelle resident. So I have a lot of family, both sides of my family, both my mom and my dad. They grew up in Rochelle. So
that's a small town love story right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Four generations.
That's
impressive. You rarely hear that.
Yeah.
People move around a lot. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I hope to, stay there and hopefully one day raise a family there as well and continue that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell us how you were as a kid. What were you into? What were you like?
Yeah. So, I was just an average kid, I think. I didn't really play that many sports when I was younger, but for a while I did Little League, up until maybe like fourth grade, and then I was also in Boy Scouts for a bit. I did that until middle school. It was, I had a great childhood, went to a lot of great schools in Rochelle and made a lot of nice friends.
Did you watch sports or anything, video games, anything like that?
So I'm a big Yankee fan.
Okay.
I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. So my dad and I, and my grandfathers as well, I grew up watching Yankee sports, Yankee games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the
Very
Giants too. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else? Wrestling, video games?
No, not really.
None of that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
New York sports, I like it. Basketball?
I'll follow the Knicks here and there, but not really like watching every game like I do for the Yankee game.
All right.
Yeah.
And as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So, that's a great question. When I was in middle school, I really wanted to become a doctor.
All right.
That was like at the top of my list. I really wanted to become a doctor. And I think like with some people, when you realize all the schooling that you have to go through,
Absolutely.
I then decided it wasn't for me. So I went back and forth with a lot of different things, but I ultimately wanted to become either a radio or a TV host. I liked watching the news. I liked following the news, and then ultimately, like when I got to college, I went to Iona. I decided to major in media and strategic communications and was very involved there with the TV station, the radio station. I wrote for the newspaper, and that is my passion. And I also, for a brief period, I worked at Fox News for Neil Cavuto. He had a business show there, so I did a lot of production-related work. And when I was there, I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
That's wild. So what age you think this was? Because there's not many people that from young age want to do something and then actually do it. That's very impressive.
Yeah,
what age was this? Do you know what age it all started, the interest?
I wish I had a specific thing, but I think thinking back, I always enjoy talking to people, and I always like to tell people's stories, hence the podcast that I have. So I think that's where that comes from. I always just like learning and finding more about people and businesses. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to junior high school and high school. What was that like? What were you into? What was going
on? So kind of similar. I did the TV station and I did the newspaper when I was in high school.
Nice.
As well as,
so the school had a TV station?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
And where did it air?
It aired sometimes on like the YouTube channel,
Nice.
And then the local Rochelle has like a local network that only like Rochelle residents, Optimum and Verizon customers got. So this stuff would air on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there was like holiday shows. There was some sports that I did.
It was like news coverage you were doing?
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It wasn't like a regular weekly thing, but
Okay.
it was maybe like once a month, like just a rundown of what was going on. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep.
And after high school, that's when you went to Iona?
Yes. So a little fun fact about that. I'm actually the 8th member of my family to go to Iona.
Wow.
So my grandfather actually graduated in the class in 1949.
Wow.
So he was one of the first classes because Iona was founded in 1940. So
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so I grew up going to the basketball games sometimes. So yeah, Iona's like my second home. And
Nice.
so ultimately I decided when I was in high school that I wanted to remain local. I wasn't really too crazy about going away and doing the whole dorm thing and
Yeah.
you know, and so but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stayed local, right across the street from my high school.
How crazy is that?
Yeah. A lot of my friends were like, "Why would you want to go right across the street?" I'm like, "No, I like Iona. I want to continue that family legacy,
Family tradition.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my sister didn't though. She ended up going to Fairfield.
All right.
But
Everyone's different.
yeah, but Iona was great. I met a lot of great people, and they really did a great job with education.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. So what else? I didn't go to college, so tell me about it. What else did you do there? I know your major was media and
Strategic communications.
okay.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I also had a minor in political science.
Okay.
So, in addition to the news, I've always liked following campaigns.
Okay.
You know, presidential elections, local elections, whatever it is. I even see myself maybe one day working for a campaign, like a public information officer or
Really?
a spokesperson or campaign manager, something like that. That's something I possibly would like to go into. And you know, so when I was there, I had access to a lot of different like guest speakers that they had brought in. So it was great. We got to tour a lot of different places, Pix 11 News Studio, Yahoo News.
Nice.
So by doing that, by getting in like a small program like that, I had opportunity to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what else? What else was college like?
It was great. I mean, you know, I was so involved there that it kind of felt like I lived there because I was so close by. So people would ask me all the time, "Wait, you don't live here?" I'm like, "No, I'm always here though."
Well, you live close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in college, I also was a tour guide. So I gave tours for the admissions office. I had 2 radio shows. I was the president for the TV station. I wrote for the newspaper, and I was also the social media manager for the admissions office.
Wow, that's a lot.
So I was very busy.
Yeah, for real. So let's talk about the 2 radio stations. What was the difference between both of them?
So one show I did the morning show. So it was like a 2-hour morning show where me and one other person would just talk about what was going on campus. That was a weekly show. And so that was a great show, and I also brought on guest students, faculty, staff, and then I had another show on a different day that was in the afternoon that I did with my friend Dave, and we would just talk about national, international news, sports, campus news, sports, and events, and then we would sometimes bring on a guest. So we would bring on some professors, like if there was, for example, one of the semesters, the 2016 election was going on, so we had brought in a couple of professors that are experts on presidential elections from the
Nice.
political science department. So we did that, and then we brought in like one of the media professors, and we talked about all like the hot shows that were out,
Nice.
and like the Billboard Top 10. We would talk about. So we had so much to talk about, and I always enjoyed that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And where was that? Where could you listen to that radio?
So it was on YouTube, and then at the time there was like it was called Ustream. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like it's a software I think that some universities use, and it was specific to Iona. So it wasn't like on an actual radio,
Yeah.
but it was on YouTube and the software called Ustream.
I see.
Yeah.
How did the TV channel work? It was in the studio, or was it outside also?
So we had a separate studio for that, but that was on YouTube, strictly on YouTube.
No, I mean the production. How did the production work?
Oh, it was
recorded in the studio?
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
okay.
Yeah. So, in addition to those two radio shows, I also hosted a show called Inside Iona, and it was kind of the same thing, just a recap over the past month
Yeah.
on all the stuff that happened on campus, news, sports, events, entertainment, and basically I would, go around and a lot of my other friends would go around campus and we'd interview different students to get their take on certain things.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And what's the benefits clerk at the city school district in Rochelle? What's that?
Yes, so that actually was, so I started there for the school district when I was in high school in the summer months, just doing office work. And then I continued through college doing it just a couple times a week just to have a job that
Yeah.
I can hold on to and, make a few extra bucks,
Absolutely.
especially as a college kid.
Absolutely.
So I did that. I was like doing it for twice a week. And then after I graduated, when I was like looking, excuse me, for jobs in media and related fields, I was actually hired there full time as the employee benefits clerk. And
nice.
so I was doing like workers' comp. I was doing employee benefits, health insurance,
and it's for who? City employees?
for the school district employees. So teachers,
district
psychologists,
employees. I
security
see.
guards. Yep. So I was doing that. So it was more like a human resource type of job,
Yeah.
assisted with the onboarding process. And then a few years down the line, I was asked then to assist, being with my background in media and social media, to help with social media for the superintendent and for the school district. So I was doing that, and then I was also directing the superintendent. He had a show that was on YouTube that he would interview somebody from the school district every week. So I was like producing and helping with that show and helping to write press releases for certain things with the school district. So it was great, and ultimately I stayed there up until last October of 24, and which I'm sure you'll ask me a little later on, but I then went back to my alma mater, and I now work at Iona.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So
Yeah.
let's jump right there. So you graduated Iona, and then you're full time at the other job, human resources, and then how do you get back to Iona?
So I graduated with my bachelor's in 2018 as an
Okay.
undergrad, and then spent several years with the school district. And then this opportunity last year came about in the Iona Advancement and Development Office, basically alumni relations, as assistant director for student alumni engagement. So that's my title.
So what is alumni relations?
So basically, those who have graduated from Iona,
Yeah.
that office deals with them.
No,
So,
but what do they do after they graduate?
our staff, we plan events. So like reunion weekends,
Reunions.
homecoming weekends. I'm in charge of the mentoring program. It's called Gales Go Further, and that's a program that undergraduate students can take advantage of, and there's a class component with it. So basically, each student that takes it gets 1 credit towards their degree.
Oh, nice.
And they take my class, meets once a week. So I teach several things such as email etiquette, dining etiquette, lots of career readiness type of skills.
Dining?
Yeah.
Really?
So the bread plate is on your
Yeah.
left, the drink is on your right, stuff like that you may not
Wow.
learn, anywhere else. So yeah,
That's pretty cool. Teach etiquette and it gives them a point.
right. And then I bring in some experts to teach about financial literacy, resume, cover letter writing.
Nice.
So that's what I do there, and then help with planning events and cultivating alumni, and assist with fundraising.
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Have you integrated AI yet in your work?
So that's a great question. I have not.
You really should.
It is coming, though. I do
Yeah.
feel it.
It's here. It's here now.
Yeah. So I have not. That's one of my goals, is to do that. And also, I forgot to mention this before. So after I graduated in 2018, I waited a few years and I went back to Iona for my master's in 2021, and I finished in 2024. So it took a little under 3 years to finish because, when you're working full time,
Absolutely.
you really can only do like 1 to 2 classes a semester. So I did that. I returned to Iona, got my master's in public relations.
Nice.
And then I graduated in May of 2024. And that graduation was actually unique because I served as commencement speaker
Nice.
for that graduation. So it was a very nice honor.
And
Yeah.
what's the commencement speech?
So I touched on my experience growing up, and a little unique thing about me is I have a hearing loss. I have a profound bilateral hearing loss, and what that means is I'm deaf in both ears.
No way.
Yeah, so you probably wouldn't know.
Of course not. Because you're speaking perfect. Are you reading my lips this whole time?
Thank you. I do read lips
Okay.
as kind of like a backup to the sound. It's just a skill that I acquired from my years of being
Absolutely.
deaf. I wear a cochlear implant. I don't know if you noticed when I came in, but so that device I got when I was 2 years old.
Wow.
At 2 years old, I was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis, which led to this bilateral hearing loss. And
What is that? The bacterial meningitis. What is that?
so that's a disease that's it's a virus, and it affects the brain and spinal cord.
Wow.
So it can have many brutal, effects. And in my case, I had lost my hearing from it, and it was a really tough time for my family, for my parents especially. I was hospitalized for a while, and then ultimately when I recovered, they discovered that I had gradually lost my hearing from that illness. So after I had recovered from that, my parents went to NYU in the city and got me implanted with the cochlear implant. And what that is, it's a little device that sits on my ear, and there's a microphone that connects to this magnet that I have on my head, and when sound goes in, those sound waves go to my brain, and that's how I get sounds, words, sentences, etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
impressive.
Yeah, it's a remarkable device, and without it, I wouldn't be where I am today.
That's technology, doctors.
Yeah.
That's incredible stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So how is it growing up with it? Is it like, I'm assuming it's waterproof, so it doesn't affect you that much, right?
So it's not waterproof at the moment. It's water resistant. So like I
Okay.
can go out in the rain, but like if I jump into a pool, I couldn't like go underneath under the water. But growing up, yeah, it was definitely an experience. I mean, I had to have, following getting implanted, I had to like relearn how to talk again. So I had extensive speech therapy, both in school and in the city at the Center for Hearing and Communication. So I did that for a few years, probably like pre-K up until like kindergarten. So
Okay.
like 2-3 years, I was going to the city for a while for speech therapy, and then when I got to my later elementary school years, I got speech therapy in the school setting, so I didn't
Okay.
have to go there.
Okay.
So I got speech therapy up until I was in 5th grade,
Okay.
and then from there, it was determined I didn't need speech anymore.
So the speech therapy is because you couldn't hear yourself speak
Correct.
beforehand. So now that you can hear yourself speak, now you have to make it all make sense together.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting
But the fact
stuff.
that I heard and I spoke briefly up until 2 years old was to my advantage, because someone who is born deaf, they're in a different situation because they've never been exposed to sounds before.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's interesting to think of it that way.
Absolutely. What
Yep.
religion did you grow up as a kid?
So I grew up as a Catholic. I still practice as a Catholic. Belong to my church in Rochelle called Holy Name of Jesus, and that church has been in my family for three generations.
Oh, just three.
Yeah, only three.
That first generation, we don't mention it.
So my parents got married there. My grandparents got married there. Lots of other family, aunts, uncles, etc. Yeah, my hometown church, and I serve as parish council chairperson now, and I run the lecturing ministry. So I get all the Sunday readers for mass. Yep. So I remained very active and very involved in the church and in my faith.
Nice.
And ultimately, faith is what got my parents through my illness when I was younger.
Yep. I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
That's the next question I want to get to, where it's like there's certain people that say there is no God because God wouldn't let my child be born this way or have this illness or end up needing this implant. How would you answer that?
So yeah, I mean, it's a complicated question. Something that I myself even in the past have been like, why did I get this illness? Why me? And the way I see it is God doesn't put someone in situations like that if he didn't think you can handle it. And also the way I see it as well is that had I had not been deaf, I wouldn't have made all these connections, friends, speech pathologists, audiologists, and I would not be the person I am today. And,
Absolutely.
Because of that, my family's faith only got stronger after it when they saw me recover. Meningitis is a very hard disease to overcome. So, the fact that I overcame it, I mean, I was, from what I'm told, I was, it was not looking good. It was really, it could go either way. It was not looking good. But with many prayers, support, I was able to overcome that. So ultimately, the faith is what got my family through it. I myself, as I mentioned, I'm still practicing, and ultimately what I tell people is that you just have to take it one day at a time. Whether you believe in God or not, or whether you practice religion or not, always just take it one day at a time. Everything always has its way of working out. And for me, when I was growing up with it, I just had to tell myself, I had to become a self-advocate. Like as I got older, I learned how to advocate for myself. Because I knew, I wouldn't have these teachers, I wouldn't have my parents and all the other support staff around forever. Like eventually I would have to, grow up and ask for the services that I needed. So it's always, I always tell people you have to become your own self-advocate and believe in yourself. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Even if it takes, if it takes you a long time to get there, unfortunately, that's life. We all experience good things, bad things, and, all goes back to taking it one day at a time and just being grateful, practicing gratitude, expressing gratitude, and being grateful for all that you have. And I myself am grateful for my faith, my family, my friends, and all the people that were able to help me, in my younger days.
Absolutely, I love it. Well said. Yeah. Let's lighten up the topic a little bit. I see you have a little tan on your nose.
Good observation.
I can tell you wear sunglasses too by the tan line.
Yeah, the tan line. So my sister mentioned that to me. She was like, you have a tan line with your sunglasses. I'm like, well, what are you going to do?
It's a good tan line. It's a good tan line to have. So tell us about your vacation that you just came from.
Yeah, so I just got back from Turks and Caicos. So 100% recommend. If you or anyone else is looking for a vacation spot, try it out.
I've never been. Tell me about it.
It's great. So like a little under 4-hour flight.
Okay.
Like going to Florida.
Okay.
Not a long flight. But it's great. It's an island. Lots of things to do. For me, I'm more of beach pool. I don't like to do anything else.
No way, no excursions, nothing?
So, not this trip, but when
Okay.
I was there last, I actually rode horses on the beach.
That's nice.
So that was a great experience. Just taking it in, being on a horse, and of course, you're with someone. They don't just say like, get on the horse and go, because I was very nervous about that. But yeah, so like they have lots of water activities, lots of excursions. The horseback riding is one of them. But for me, I'm a very low key person when it comes to vacations. I can sit on the beach or by the pool the entire day, and some days I took like 2 naps.
2 naps.
As long as I have a book, some music, a drink, I'm good.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds great.
Yeah.
One day I'll check it out. Let's jump into the podcast. When did that start and why did it start?
So
I'm assuming you missed the radio and you missed all that stuff you were doing.
Right. So I that podcast and radio show, well, it was a radio show and now it's a podcast, but I actually came about it accidentally. I'll explain. So someone from my church was the director of the Chamber of Commerce. She approached me and said, I'm looking for a radio host, and I know your background going to Iona, and and prior to that, I was also I host the Thanksgiving parade broadcast in Rochelle
Nice.
every year. So my experience with that as well, and reading at church. So she had approached me. Her name's Jen Lanzer, and I thank her for this, because if it were not for her, I probably wouldn't have gotten to it. So I went and she showed me the ropes, and at the time the radio show was at WVOX, which was a local radio station in Rochelle on 5th Avenue. So from the fall of 2018 up until September of 2023, that's when I hosted the Chamber Show,
Okay.
along with Jen Lanzer and then later Catherine White when she took over the Nerd Show Chamber. Basically, the format of that show on WVOX was every second and fourth Monday of every month for a half hour. And we would interview a member of the Nerd Show Chamber of Commerce to come and do do a little spotlight on them. So, for example, Iona University, they're a member of the chamber, so they were invited on a few times. Several restaurants in New Rochelle, bars, other businesses we have on, and then I continued to do this show even throughout the pandemic. So throughout the pandemic, there was no stopping. I mean, at the time, as most places do, we had reverted to phone calls. So there was no like Zoom option for WVOX. It was just like a phone interview. So I had guests on the phone for a while, probably for a good year, until we gradually then started letting people back in the studio. So that was like a part-time thing. And then once WVOX closed, we had to kind of get creative. So we partnered with Iona University. Again, Iona comes.
Man, it's meant to be. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. So again, the Iona connection came. And being that I had connections there with, getting my degrees and everything from there, we were able to launch a podcast called The Chamber Chat. So similar, theme and premise. And we were able to launch the podcast, and we have a student that works for us who gets academic credit every semester, and they do all the editing, the producing, all that
Nice.
stuff.
Very nice.
And Catherine and I, we will bring guests on, but it's more relaxed because it's not live. WVOX was live, so we had commercial breaks. We had so that it was cool, but I prefer doing the podcast now that I'm, now having experienced both, because I like the podcast format better because it allows you to step back. You can ask everything you want to ask, because when you're live on the air, and
You have a time limit.
right. So, really it was a half-hour show, but when you it was really like 20 minutes because when you take out all the bits and pieces for commercials and openings and closings. So the podcast has been great. But I'll always be grateful for my WVOX days because without that experience, I wouldn't have had the experience to lead me to where I am today. So
Absolutely.
It was great. Yeah.
Absolutely. So where is the podcast shown and listened to? Where can...
So it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Rochelle Chamber of Commerce has their own YouTube channel, so the episodes are posted there. And then it's also on Spotify. And then I share it on my Instagram at Matt Ricker 5. And then the Rochelle Chamber posts it on their Instagram, Facebook, etc. So it's on all social media, my social media, as well as YouTube.
Nice. What's the exact name of the podcast?
It's called The Chamber Chat.
The Chamber Chat.
The Chamber Chat, yeah. So check that out if you haven't already. Give us a like, give us a follow. And, you can also head over to my page, too. I post the interviews as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these awards here. I got Best Radio Show Host, Best of Westchester. How'd that happen?
So I've been nominated for that for 3 times by Westchester Magazine.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the actual award yet, but just being nominated is an honor in itself. So hopefully this year or next year I'll be able to win that.
You're definitely gonna win it.
So I'll send you the link when the voting opens.
Yeah, send it to me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. 2024 Resiliency Award.
Yes. So the Volunteer New York, I don't know if you've heard of the organization, but Volunteer New York is an organization that provides volunteers to different events statewide. So, for example, the New Rochelle Thanksgiving Parade, the Chamber of Commerce, we partner with Volunteer New York, and we're able to get volunteers to hold the balloon strings for pulling the balloons. So
that's funny. A volunteer to hold a balloon string.
Yeah. And it's actually not as easy as you think because you have to duck when the traffic lights are coming.
And everyone has to be in sync, right? Because it's like big balloons.
Yeah. So everyone's gotta. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I give those guys credit. So.
Duck.
Volunteer New York. So they provide. They're a non-for-profit organization, and they provide volunteers to all different organizations. So I was nominated by Catherine White, which is our chamber director for New Rochelle, and she nominated me for the Resiliency Award, being with my background, with growing up with hearing loss and overcoming that, and now hosting the radio show and now podcast. So it was really an honor. It was a really nice honor. They had a nice award ceremony where the county executive came and presented me with the proclamation at the Tarrytown Marriott Hotel. So it was a nice thing. There were like 600 people there. So it was a really nice honor.
You ever thought about writing a book?
I have thought of it.
Because your story is a story. Because it's
Thank you.
You came from maybe not surviving, maybe not ever being able to hear, to actually, and then speech therapy, to now you're using your voice as what you do. That's like literally the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the extreme opposite.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I was nominated for that award.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have thought of it. I just got to get a publisher lined up. So if there's any publishers listening, give me a call.
I say start writing it.
Yeah.
And then work your way into the publisher.
Yeah.
Definitely start getting those words down.
Yeah. No, I definitely have had some ideas of where I'd like to go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm definitely reading that one. Who's the first person you think of when you think of success?
So, can this be a celebrity? Or...
Anybody.
Okay. Yeah, that's a...
Some people say themselves. It's whatever you want.
No, I'm just kidding. No, so, yeah, that's a great question. So, I have a few role models and people that I think, have gone on to be, so successful. So, and being I'm a Yankee fan, I'm biased, but one of my role models has been and still is Derek Jeter.
Okay.
Just being that, he grew up and actually Mariano Rivera too. He's a Rochelle guy as well. So I would say Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. I'm going to be biased by choosing two baseball players, but no, their stories are just like amazing, and seeing how far they came and like how young they started out in their careers, and it's just really inspiring.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. What are 3 things you need to be happy?
So definitely my faith, my family. Faith, family, friends, and third thing. It's always the third thing. I'd say. I'd say faith, family, friends, and my dog.
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't live without my dog.
Man's best friend, literally.
Yes, absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah.
How about music? How was that brought into when you were learning to speak and hear and all that? How was music integrated and all that?
Great question. So, I was never really a big fan of music. So I've been to concerts. They're not something I go out of my way to go to, just because it can be very overwhelming with being how loud it is. But I like it. I mean, I've been to like Kane Brown, I've been to Pitbull, so great experiences at those concerts. But like I said, not really something that I go out of my way to do. But yeah, I mean, music. I learned music in school. I actually used to play the guitar and
nice.
violin as well.
Nice.
So I haven't in a while, so I'd be a little rusty, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Listening through the sounds of music, and something that I do not take for granted, because I know that there are people probably in my situation that they don't have an implant or they don't have hearing aids, and they're just totally deaf, and so yeah. But I do appreciate music. Mm-hmm.
So do you listen to it like in the car? And...
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
Good. So what do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of country.
Okay.
I'm a big country guy, and pop, rock. I'm kind of open to a lot. I kind of like to listen to whatever's currently trending, but I'm also a big country guy. So maybe one day you'll find me in Nashville.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. What's the most exciting thing you ever did?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say when I started hosting that radio show, I just had a great sense of accomplishment, because, literally that was the one thing that I had wanted to do, like right after college, and I got it. And, a lot of people, being that it was a local station, it was to my advantage, because, obviously when you're right out of college, they're not going to just put you right on Sirius XM or,
absolutely,
or 1010 Wins or something like that. Of course, that was and still is a little bit of my dream, to do maybe one day. But I just really enjoy it. I enjoy interviewing people, and just if I didn't get that opportunity, I don't think I would be where I am today.
I like it.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and also I wanted to add, I don't think I mentioned it, but my friend Jake Kozak, we had started, well, really he did, but he started this Instagram, TikTok show called the Bronx Zoo. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's a big Yankee baseball type of thing. So I did some of and I still do some of the producing for him, doing the camera work and stuff. So shout out to Jake, and that's been a great experience as well. So if you or anyone else out there that are listening want to check it out, it's called the Bronx Zoo. And it's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we interview all types of fans, baseball players. You know, we've had several guests on the show. It's a show that we like take out into the field, so it's great. That's been a great experience.
Nice.
Doing that. So I enjoy
So
that.
it's you filming him interviewing people on the
Correct.
street?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
what
I've also conducted some of the interviews as
Nice.
well. Recently, we actually went to PaisanCon.
What is that?
You never heard? So
I'm assuming Italian food?
yeah, you're on the right track. So PaisanCon, they've had it 2 or 3 years in New Jersey, and it's an Italian-themed, like almost like convention where they have all these Italian actors and actresses. So, you know, you had a lot of actors from The Sopranos there, and
Chaz Palminteri?
so he wasn't at this one, but we have interviewed him
Okay.
before. Good guy. And so we went to PaisanCon, and I did a few interviews, and Jake did a few interviews as well, and my good friend Eddie as well. And so I got to interview Special Agent Dwight Harris from The Sopranos. Are you a Soprano fan?
I haven't watched it
Oh,
yet.
you got to get
It's
into
on my
it.
list. I have to watch it. I want to watch it full through.
Oh yeah, you have to. You
Yeah.
have to, and get ready, because when you start, you're hooked.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So check that out. But yeah, so we got to interview a lot of different celebrities, but we've also gotten to interview a lot of different baseball players. So like Reggie Jackson, Bernie Williams. Any Yankee fans out there, though, they'll know. But yeah, a lot of great faces out there that we
Nice.
were able to interview. Yeah.
Nice. Do you know why it's called the Bronx Zoo if it's not about the Bronx Zoo?
So, yeah, that's a great question. So, the Bronx Zoo refers to the era in the Yankees history of the 70s. So,
Really?
in the 70s, there was like a core group of Yankee players that they got their name as the Bronx Zoo. I'm not like 100% sure why they called it that, but that's just a unique name, so we took that name from there. But yeah, I understand a lot of people ask that, and
Yeah,
it's,
not
it's
knowing
a
the
great
history,
question.
yeah.
No, but a lot of
awesome.
people come up and ask like, "Oh, you're with like the zoo?" No, we're like, no,
It sounds like it, 'cause it's
But
perfectly the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
That's a great story,
but,
though.
yeah.
I didn't know that history of the Yankees.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah.
When you're filming in the street, what are you filming with? What mic and what camera are you using?
So we use like similar to these cameras that you have here. We have a Canon, and we actually have 2 Canons.
Okay, nice.
That we use. Yeah.
You use a microphone or just built-in?
Yeah. Jake usually has a wireless handheld mic.
Nice.
That we use, and then we'll also go into Billy's, which is a bar in the Bronx.
Yes, I know that one.
So that's a great place.
After a game, it's
Oh
hectic.
yeah. Even before the game, there's a lot of
Yeah,
pre-gaming going on.
pre-gamers, because
Yeah.
there's not a parking lot to, what do they do with football
Tailgate.
stadium? You can't tailgate
No.
much, so Billy's is it.
No, yeah. So it's great. So we go in there as well to do
Yeah.
some interviewing. So it's a great environment.
It's a nice
great vibe.
property. I like
Yes.
it. I really like that place.
Yep.
As you get older, what has become more important and less important?
So I think what's become less important is trying to please everybody. So what I've learned in the 29 years being on this earth is that you can't please everybody. You're never going to please everybody.
Impossible.
So, like I mentioned before, just have to take it one day at a time. Most problems can be fixed, resolved, etc. Always be honest with yourself and with others. Just live every day to the fullest, and, sit back and make sure you enjoy life too, because it flies by, as we all know, and, it just goes by so quickly. I recently read something, actually, I forget, it was somewhere on Instagram, that, like, you're lucky if you have maybe 75 to 80 summers where summers, winters, autumns, springs, where you can enjoy and travel and do everything, because then after that you get older. Not to say after 75, 85 you're worn out or whatever, but when you're working all your life and as you age and get older, you might have some health issues. So just do that travel, take that trip if you can, and spend time with all the people that you want to spend time with, because life goes by so quickly, and just learn to appreciate every moment. And then you had asked what's become more important?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's become more important in the 29 years?
I felt like that was the answer.
Yeah.
I thought you kind of answered both at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, well, I was actually going to just circle back to...
If you want to get deeper, let's go, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say again, like, what's become more important to me is spending as much time with family and friends, and being big on my faith. That's been most important, and just trying to, always take it one step at a time.
Nice. I've recently been looking into this book. I don't know if I'm gonna read it, but the point of the book is called Die with Zero. You heard about this book? Of it. So it's this guy that says people wait until they save their whole life, they work their whole life to try to enjoy the last 10, 20 years of their life, but at that age, when you're retiring in your 60s, you can't do the things you wanted to do when you were in your 20s and 30s, like physically.
Right.
Like it could even be just walking along a long beach. Like in your 80s, you're probably not going to want to walk that long beach. Right. Like you're not physically built to do everything you want to do when you retire.
Right.
So it's like you said, it's important to do the things now, enjoy it now, experience those things now.
Yeah.
Saving up and doing it later is pointless. You might, God forbid, die young, or even in your 70s, which is not. It's not rare, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I will, if you'll allow me to add, my grandmother, she passed away last year.
Sorry.
Thank you. She was 96 years old.
Woo!
So,
long, strong life.
And my great-grandmother lived until she was 98.
Wow.
So
same side of the family?
Same side of the family.
All right, that's the good side.
So she lived a long life. She, took every day, one day at a time, was always up for an adventure.
There you go. That's what keeps us alive.
Yes. And up until probably like 95, she was, she was, her memory was great. And then after that, she kind of went downhill. But she is someone that, she's someone who I would like to live my life like, because she really took advantage of, every day and lived her life to the fullest, married, had, lots of kids and lots of grandchildren. I'm one of 9 grandchildren on that side of the family. Yeah. And I'm, my mom is one of 5. So I have a big family.
That's
and
nice.
then on my dad's side too, a big family as well. And I love all my grandparents. My grandmother, Josephine, she's still alive and with us, thankfully. And, I always enjoy hanging out with my grandparents and having asking them a lot about their life and their upbringing, and just to add, so my grandfather Anthony, he was a World War II veteran.
My man. He
served in the Navy in World War II, and he served in it was the USS Bunch ship, and he was stationed in Japan, China, like Asia, and so he had a lot of great stories there. And then on my other side of the family, I have so many veterans in my family, so I can't possibly name all of them, but but my grandfather Gary on my dad's side, he served in the Nevada National Guard, and then later transferred to the New York National Guard. So lots of different branches of the military in my family, so I have a deep appreciation for first responders, military, and I thank them for their service and for giving their lives to us.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. We need that.
Yep.
We need the patriots and the brave.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What would be the best piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
That's a great question. So I would say, growing up, as I mentioned, as we talked about, I've had a unique experience growing up with hearing loss, and so I had, probably my childhood was probably a little different than everyone else, but despite having my hearing loss, I never let that stop me. I like to swim, ironically. I like to swim and, do any other activities. I used to love dodgeball. In school, I had a good time with that. So I would say, I'm looking back, I probably wish I had gotten into a sport. So if I was my younger self, I probably would, if I was to talk to my younger self now, I probably would say maybe pick a sport to be involved in. But as I mentioned, when I was younger, I always took it one day at a time, and I learned to appreciate that more and to express gratitude more as I was getting older. So that's something I learned like later on in my childhood, and that's something I'm glad that I continue to do today.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you could have any question answered, and it could be any question, even the day and time you're going to die, what question would you ask?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, you ask great questions.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
If you could have any question answered, what would you ask?
What would I ask? Yeah, I would love to get like a timeline on how long you would live. That way you have, like I'm a planner, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know that too.
Absolutely.
How long do you have here on this earth? Is it 80, 90, 100?
Yeah.
I would just like to know that, and also I would like to ask, why don't we have a time machine? Can AI do that yet?
Not yet. Maybe soon.
But also, no, but in all seriousness, I think that would be a question that I would love to have answered would be how much time do we all have?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
If you had one law everyone on earth had to follow, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a great one. I would say to everyone must practice respect towards others, responsibility towards others, and other obligations as well. I would say because society, does revolve around respect and people being responsible for their actions. I think that should be a universal law. I mean, you see, you follow the news any day, and there's always a conflict, and it's something that I always think in the back of my mind, like, what would happen if everyone was just kind to each other? No matter on what, situation or what side it's on, like if everyone was just kind to one another and respectful and responsible, it would be, like 100 times better, society. So I
Absolutely. Yeah. It's that simple, literally.
So, right. Yeah. So, and gratitude too. Practice gratitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anywhere else you want to travel to? Anything you have on your list?
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot. Did you want to ask me maybe?
No, I said travel.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere you want to travel to.
Yes, great question.
Yeah.
So my dad, or actually both sides of the family, we have roots to Italy. So my grandma, who's still here now, she's from Naples, Italy. Off the boat, came here when she was young. It was probably like the 1940s when she came here. So it's my dream to always want to travel to Italy. That's like my top international destination at the moment. So Italy, Greece, maybe France. Yeah, those are probably my top three. And right now, yeah.
You know, what came to mind when you said your the answer to the law everyone had to follow, respect everyone. I went to Thailand last year, and that's how it is over there.
Yeah.
Everyone respects each other. Everyone's so nice to each other. It's something I've never seen anywhere I've traveled to.
And the food doesn't have
Oh,
preservatives.
the food is incredible. Maybe that's why everybody's nicer
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, from many people that I've talked to when they've gone to Europe, they said that the lifestyle is like so different there.
Yeah.
Like people don't, that they're not like checking their email on, after hours. Like
Yeah.
they're unplugging, and I think that's so important,
It is.
to unplug for a little bit. It doesn't even mean, going to another country or to a destination. Just like, even if you, and this is something I struggle myself too, like just to put the phone down, like even for an hour a day, go for a walk. If you're religious, say your prayers.
Have a conversation with somebody.
Exactly. Like, and I find that when I do that, when I'm not checking messages or social media, and as you know, I mean, social media is like, can be addicting.
Absolutely.
And I mean, in our line of work, we kind of have no choice. We
You have to be interactive on
active.
it.
Right.
But the algorithm also feeds you everything you want to see.
Exactly. Right. So, but yeah, so I think it's so important to take time, like I said, even if it's just for an hour, to unwind, to unplug, to connect with others, to pray, to exercise. That's actually something I meant to mention. So one of the things, probably in the past 3 years or so, was that I've gotten into going to the gym, eating
Good.
healthy. I work with a personal trainer now.
Good.
So and I find that it makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
Even if it's, and I'm not saying you have to do like a strenuous exercise routine. Like even if you just go to the gym and run an hour or walk an hour on the treadmill.
Absolutely.
Or if you don't have access to a gym, go walk outside, down the street and back. Every little bit of physical activity helps.
Absolutely.
And I think, and I'm sure you remember this, because I think we're about the same age. Do you remember? I think it was on Nickelodeon, where there was this campaign that said 60 minutes of play every day. I don't know if you remember that.
I used to love Nickelodeon, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Nickelodeon or maybe Cartoon Network. It was one of those, one of the kid channels. And I that has stuck with me. 60 minutes of play every day. And so, and nowadays with the kids being more like reliant on technology, like having
They're not active.
iPads and iPhones or whatever.
Their
it may be,
minds are
tablets.
active, but their bodies are not.
Right. And I think COVID has a little bit to do with that.
Absolutely.
Because, when everyone was confined to their homes in 2020, when we had shut down, a lot of dependents, even people in the workplace and ourselves, like we became very reliant on technology. So
Absolutely.
a lot of things now are on Zoom, which I don't know about you. I prefer in person.
Absolutely.
So when you gave me this invitation, I was like, oh, I'm so glad it's in person. Like just coming into
Yeah.
a studio has a special like meaning. And,
Absolutely.
And it's like so much more meaningful when it's in studio. I love having my guests in studio.
Same.
But going back to the first question about traveling and physical activity, I think it's so important.
Absolutely.
And you have to make sure you're active, no matter what age.
So when you work out, it's an hour a day?
So yes, I
And how many
usually
days a week?
will work with my trainer. Shout out to Francesco. We'll usually work together. I belong to Pro Body in Mamaroneck. It's on Mamaroneck Avenue. We'll usually work out for like an hour. So he has me doing some certain exercises. Sometimes it's lower body, upper body, full body. It really just depends on the day. I actually also got into boxing.
Good.
So my new nickname is Rocky Ricker. No, I'm just kidding.
Self-proclaimed.
But I really got into boxing. So find something that you like. I mean, but I thought working with the personal trainer was going to help me, and I'm so glad I did, because it keeps me disciplined. Even if it's just for once a week, that can make all the difference. And then as I got more comfortable, I will usually get to the gym like by myself like twice a week for an hour. And I'll kind of switch it up. So, maybe one day I'll do full body, maybe one day I'll do lower body, and then another day just boxing. So you kind of, whatever you feel like, whatever makes you happy and is going to make you active, just do it.
As long as you're active.
Yeah.
100%. I agree.
Exactly.
How about the diet? What have you changed? Any advice you could give the viewers?
Yeah. So in terms of diet, I've never really been big on like junk food.
Okay.
I've always been like, watchful and cautious of that stuff. But basically just eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. That's what I do, and try to up your protein. That's what I've learned. I've always been a big like steak, burger. In fact, on my recent vacation, it was like steak, chicken, burger, lobster. That's all it was. Oh, and throw some shrimp in there.
All right.
So like a like a little cycle like that. So I'm big on like red meat.
Okay.
So I like to eat that, and chicken, of course. So yeah, just try to avoid eating like a lot of processed food.
Absolutely.
And it's hard not to. I mean, when you're out and about, and
Yeah.
and if you're busy, you just want to stop into a fast food restaurant. Everything in moderation. I mean, I'll go to a fast food place every now and then. I mean, I'd say my favorite would be Chipotle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you get there?
A bowl.
Steak?
Yeah. A steak and chicken bowl.
Steak
Yeah.
and chicken.
Yeah,
My man.
yeah.
Double the protein.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guacamole?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I like that.
Yeah. So and then I also like to swim, as I mentioned. So do some laps. I belong to Leawood Golf Club, so I'll usually go there and swim some laps
Nice.
here and there. So I really
That's
really
great
enjoy
exercise.
being active. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and also sitting all day isn't good either.
Not at all.
So, like, I mean, I have a desk job, so the walking is really important. So, like, I'll try to get up and walk around. Working on a college campus now is
A lot of
great
walking.
because if I have meetings in a different building, it gives me an excuse to get up and walk around. I invested in a standing desk, so that's been great too. So
Nice.
every little bit helps, and also bottom line, drink a lot of water. Yeah, and I probably should take my own advice on that, because even though I don't drink soda, my most favorite beverage, and my friends and family will laugh at this, is seltzer.
Okay.
I like seltzer. And the reason it's so funny is because, like, no matter where we go, like, everyone says, yeah, have water. No, for me, club soda, seltzer, that's my go-to. The little lemon or lime,
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
I like that. That makes sense. It's still water. It's just
still-
fancy. It's fancy
no
water.
sugar. Yeah, fancy water. Yeah, that's a good word.
I love it.
Yeah.
What are your overall life goals?
Yeah, that's a great question. So,
You mentioned earlier family. You want to start a family.
yes. So, hopefully one day I'll meet my future wife, and then eventually have a couple of kids, a nice sized house, and ability to travel. Going back to our travel conversation.
Freedom.
Yeah. Being financially stable is also important. Healthy, above everything else. And, just remain close with my family. Yeah.
Perfect.
One thing, and I'll get some listeners and viewers that'll probably laugh. Eventually, like, I go back and forth with this, but I would maybe one day like to move to Florida, because I'm getting really tired of the cold weather up in the Northeast. I don't know how you feel about that.
I feel the same way.
So, but the thing that stops me is that, all my family's up here. So I feel like if I was to move, I would just be like down in Florida by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm big on my family, as I mentioned, and big on my faith. So I feel like I would miss it too much. And I like the seasons. I truly like the seasons here. especially like around Christmas time, seeing everything
Absolutely.
decorated.
Christmas in
know.
Florida must not feel the same.
Yeah, I know, but who knows? I mean, we'll see what the future brings. Maybe later on in life, I'll become a snowbird, as they call it.
Yeah.
Go down there for 6 months, up here for 6 months, but so maybe have a place in Florida one day. That's also a goal.
Any specific area?
I like the West Coast of
Okay.
Florida. I like the Naples, Fort Myers area.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an area that I've always liked a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
We're nearing the end of the podcast. If you could please let the people know where they could find you, anything you have coming up you want them to tune into, and any last words.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I'm on Facebook. It's my full first and last name, Mathew Ricker. And then my Instagram is MattRicker5. My Twitter handle, or X, as they call it now, is Mathew Ricker TV. So those are my 3 social media handles. And then for the podcast, it's posted on my personal pages, as I mentioned, but also follow, if you can, the Rochelle Chamber of Commerce. I believe it's Neuro Chamber. I think that's the handle. But if you type in Rochelle Chamber, it'll come up. And then in terms of anything upcoming, so I'll usually air it's like 1 podcast per week. I don't have a particular day, but I have a fun fact segment. I don't know if you saw it, but I will air a fun fact segment, 3 random facts. It can be about the Yankees. It could be about, Christmas, whatever it is. I try to change it up a little bit. Sometimes I'll even do a person of the week. So I'll pick just a random person, talk about, 3 facts about them. And then when I interview a small business or, a CEO of a small business, those episodes are posted weekly as well. So just stay tuned for the upcoming episodes of that. And I appreciate all the likes and follows. So much appreciated. Absolutely.
I appreciate your time and your great conversation.
Thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate it. And, it's been great. And I hope to come back.
I would love to do it again.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. Peace and love.